Hi Taurus, welcome to Moonbeam's Messages. This is your collective reading. Now, unlike normal where I'd normally do a self-reflection one, I'm doing a Celtic Cross this week. I kind of hit a bit of I wanted to do something different. And I just I didn't want to do self-reflection. I was getting a bit bored of them. So I'm doing a Celtic Cross this week. I'm looking to potentially swap out the finance reading as well. So it won't I might not do it every month. I'm thinking maybe every other month might do alternate the self-reflection and finance readings with something different. So if you want to hear any particular type of reading from me, please pop it in the comments. It would be great to hear from you. I am trying to look at whatever I can expand my collection into. If I don't get many comments or many ideas, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply go through a few new spreads, try it out that way and see what comes up. But yeah, I'm just trying to change it up a little bit, have something different going on for the new year. So to start your reading then, I am going to be pulling you an angel number card. These are absolutely massive and half the time they don't shuffle very well. So I'm just going to split the deck because it's significantly easier to split the deck and get one that way. Just to give you an overall feel of what the read is going to be about. So we've got 222 alignment. Focus on what you want. You are in the right place at the right time. So very much getting your manifest on. Focusing on whatever you want is pretty much the overall theme then for today's read. So let's get into it. So Spirit, can we get some cards for Taurus for what's going on for Taurus, please? What's going on? What's coming in? Let me get some cards for Taurus, please, Spirit. Just had exactly the same one come out in the first place for Capricorn. So if you have Capricorn in your chart, it might be worth checking that out as well. You will find it in the playlists. They didn't have any of the other cards that you've had come out, mind you. So just throwing it out there if you do. Okay. Okay, so it looks to me as though you've been carrying a bit of a burden around for a while. You could potentially be exhausting yourself out with it as well, and you're very much wanting to release this burden. You might not necessarily know how to release it, but you're definitely wanting to drop this burden, and you want to very much lighten the load, move forward, start something fresh, and get rid of whatever has been carrying and weighing down on your shoulders here. Now, your challenge, we do have a judgment. So there is a big decision here that you need to make, and it is very much a final decision. So whatever it is that your burden is that you're carrying around with you, you need to make a decision with regards to it. And it's going to be something that either makes it so you never have to repeat this cycle again, or it's going to be something, and say whether it's up to you on how you look at the burden. Whatever it is, it's something that is, it's like a final decision. So if you don't make the decision on it, it's just going to be stuck with you for a long time or a good while yet until you've made that decision. Now, obviously, the decision could be a number of things. Judgment can refer to reconciliation, it can refer to getting closure, it can refer to you making that final decision to move things like a job. It's very much a lasting decision, something that you don't particularly want to change your mind on, something where you're very much ready to move forward from this and never necessarily look back at it. Now, that is a big challenge. Maybe you don't want to make a decision on this, and I can see that in the past we do have this Two of Swords there, so very much suggesting that you've wanted to close your eyes and not make a decision. So yeah, it does look as though this is a decision that needs to be made, and it is something that is a big challenge to you. But this decision is something that you need to do in order to release this Ten of Wands. Now, it looks to me as though what it is that you're looking at is you want to make sure that you know what's good for you and what's right for you. That is your overall goal. That's why you've kind of sat there on the fence. So whatever it is that's causing you a big burden, it's like you don't understand whether or not it is right for you, whether you're just taking things for granted, whether you've made the right choice. So very much the Four of Cups can very much be somebody who's, looking, the grass is greener on the other side kind of thing, imagining what's out there, not necessarily seeing the cup that's right in front of him that is exactly what he wants. It can also be that they've finally had that awakening, that they've actually realised what is good for them, what is right in front of their face, and what's right there is exactly what they asked for, and that things aren't better or greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it, kind of attitude. So it's very much suggesting to me that you're trying to make sure that whatever this burden is, that you know whether or not you've made the right choice. Now, something to do with it looks as though the reason behind that, we've got a Five of Cups. So it looks as though you've had a lot of heartbreak in the past. There's sorrow, there's regret, there's loss. So it does feel like maybe you've lost something in the past and you're trying to make sure that you're making the right decision now, either of whether to go back to it or whether to potentially stay away from it, or whether you've learned enough from it to know what it is that you now want. It does suggest to me that there's definitely some walking away or some learning, that you've you've not lost everything here with this Five of Cups. It definitely looks as though you may have gone through a bit of grief, a bit of sorrow, some turbulence there while you were trying to cope with that loss, and you're definitely now trying to work out whether or not you know what's right for you, and you basically making sure that you're making the right decision. Like I say, in the past we've definitely got some indecision here, very much being blindfolded to it, not wanting to make that decision, sitting on a crossroads, very much holding out. And in the future, we do have you making that decision. Now, it's the Seven of Swords. Now, it doesn't mean that you're making a sneaky decision, but what it does generally mean is that you're making a decision, but you're not going to disclose what your decision is. So maybe it's something that you don't need to tell anyone about. Maybe it's something to do with yourself. It could even be, for instance, if you were looking at maybe reconciliation with an ex. You've made that decision that you're not going to go towards it. You're going to release it. And this could be you very much just walking away and not saying anything. I mean, unless they get in touch with you and reach out to you, you know, do you need to tell them anything? It's kind of very much you making that plan and that escape and not really telling anybody. It could even be maybe you're looking at a work placement, maybe. You've been keeping your eyes closed on making a decision on a job, hoping that it's going to get better, and you've potentially realised that it's not going to get there. So you're making plans to leave, but you're not telling anyone because you don't want people to guilt trip you into staying. That kind of energy. How you're viewing things within yourself. So you've got the Queen of Pentacles. So you are viewing yourself as being very stable, very caring, very giving. You are very much viewing yourself as being at home, I want to say, you like the finer things in life kind of attitude, very much. You're very comfortable at the moment, and that is the way that you're viewing yourself and you're viewing your situation. It could even be that you're viewing the things as being you're comfortable in what you've got. Do you want to make a decision to change it up? And that could be why you're feeling like you don't want to make a decision on it, because you are in a comfy spot. You may have the finer things in life. You could be viewing it very much like, well, you've got stability at the minute. You've got what you want at the minute. Do you want to rock the boat? Do you want to mix it up? Yes, you might be carrying a massive burden, but is it a burden worth carrying? Is very much what you could be thinking here. Now, in your not in your persons, but in so there's external forces influencing onto you. And we've got the moon card for them. So there's things that are going on that you don't know about. There's things that are being hidden from you. There could even be people that are slightly fearful of what you decide. But whatever it is, it's influencing you from the external, and you don't necessarily know about it. You don't know what it is, but they're going to be influencing on this outcome. Now, whether that is, like I say, if it's reconciliation, maybe it is your person that you're looking at. They could be having some fears, some anxiety. It could be that they're doing things, and there's certain things that you're not aware of that's going on with regards to them. If it's something at work, it could be very much, maybe there's like a reorganization, or you've got people working along things in the background, trying to improve certain things, or, it could be any number of things. Let's face it, if you're down at on the coal face, as they call it, you've never normally got any idea of what's going up at the top level CEOs, depending on how big the company is, until a decision's been made. Do you know what I mean? So it could very well be that you've got other people doing things in the background, certain things that could be, I want to say, a little bit scary. Not that they are scary, but it could be something that you could have certain fears towards. Maybe, like I say, if it's a work placement thing, maybe maybe they're looking at redundancies. Um, and that could obviously be fearful for not only for the company, but for yourself as well, because it's never a good reputation to make a load of workers redundant, is it? Let's face it. But at the same time, it could just be simply that spirit is saying that yes, there's things that you're not aware of, but you're not allowed to know about them. And it's very much keeping them all as a mystery. You might fear the unknown as well, but it's saying tough. Now, it could simply be somebody is scared of your reaction to certain things. They're scared how you might react, because the moon is very much, yes, it's about being in the dark, not necessarily being in touch with your intuition, not having a way through, but it's also about the fear. So it could very well be that somebody's scared of how you'll react to certain things. It could be scared of, I want to say scared of you in general. Maybe you cause them some anxiety. Maybe they're very anxious around you. It could even be that they feel very intimidated by you. Um, and that is kind of, it's like influencing your outcome without you knowing about it. So if it's something to do with work, maybe this person, if they're intimidated by you, might express that to a boss if you're going for a promotion. I don't think it is anything to do with a promotion. I think it's very much more, I do feel like it might be more love related, I'll be honest. It might not be, everybody's different. But if it's, something to do with love, it could be very much that somebody's just intimidated by you and scared of how you react if they come towards you. Or let's put it this way, if you've fallen out with an ex, maybe you've got what you class as an ex in law, mother in law, sister in law, brother in law, father in law, and they want to reach out to you. They're probably scared that you'll just turn around and say, no, go away. Because this external factor could be anything, you know? Now, in your hopes and fears, we do have communication. So you're hoping that communication goes well. So whatever this decision is that you're making, you're hoping that it works out well for you. It can also be very much that you're hoping that things will move forward better for you, and that you are going to be in a good place. Really, it's taking on a good few things at once and making sure that you move forward is successful. So you're very much hoping for that. You're fearing that there could be miscommunication, stagnation with regards to moving forward here as well. So if it is something where you do need to communicate things properly, I mean, again, it could be the fear of having to communicate things because, I mean, right here, you've got that you're trying to do things, in the future without telling anyone. So it could even be a fear of communicating your decision, what you're trying to do. I think it's actually more of a fear of you communicating. Maybe you're scared of what people are going to say about it. Maybe you're scared of other people's reactions. You could be just scared of people taking it the wrong way. And in your outcome, we have the Empress and we have the Four of Wands in the reverse. So it is suggesting to me that in the outcome here that you're going to be feeling very abundant, you're going to be feeling very successful with the Empress, very empowered, possibly stepping into your Empress energy. Now it could be that you have just got a mother figure that is going to be helping you out for your outcome as well, because the Four of Wands here, we've got a bit of instability. So it's like an unsuccessful union, it's like celebration that's not really happening, stagnation kind of feeling. Um, but with the Empress, it's very abundant, very happy, very stable. So it does suggest that it could be split. Now, it could be that depending on your communication, you could end up with one or the other. And it could just be that the outcome isn't certain yet because obviously you don't know what your decision is. So depending on what your decision is, it could be one or the other. The Empress itself is like the birth of something new, or does give birth to things that are new. You know, doesn't have to be generally giving birth, but she's very much very creative. She makes new things happen. So, brand new ideas, brand new jobs, creating things from scratch. She's very abundant, very empowered. Could be a mother figure, like I say. And then like I say, you've got the Four of Wands here. A bit of instability, a lack of celebration, unhappy union kind of energy. So, I mean, it could be that you step into your Empress energy, but decide that you are not going to be with anybody that you from the past. Maybe you're going into a divorce, but you're stepping into your Empress energy from that. Now, obviously, Empress doesn't have to be female. Tarot is fluid, so gender fluid. So feel free to swap it. It can be a masculine there as well. It is whatever fits. It's just personality traits. So take it as you will. But yeah, very much suggesting to me that even though you may be going into that Empress energy, you're definitely going to be feeling here like a lack of celebration. So it could just be that you don't celebrate that you've grown into this beautiful Empress. You're not at harmony and you're not at peace with something either very much. So yeah, I do think it could be just very much one of or another outcome depending on what your decision is. But it does suggest to me that you're going to be feeling really good, really happy, really empowered, but at the same time slightly unstable because of external things. So maybe that's what this moon is. Maybe it's somebody externally that's causing a bit of instability and disharmony in your life. But it's something that you might not be able to do anything about. Now, I suppose this Seven of Swords as well can be a bit of dishonesty. So again, if there's some dishonesty going on, and it could be that somebody's scared of you finding out about their dishonesty, that's going to cause some instability, isn't it? So it could be either way. I'm not 100% sure which one it is. Obviously, you will know better than I will when it happens for you. Let's get you some Moonology cards to give you a rough idea of when you're likely to experience some of this. It's a few too many, but we're going to take them anyway. Now, I don't know when the South Node is, but I've got don't let your past hold you back, South Node. So whenever your South Node is, I don't know. We've got conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse. We've only got one of those this year. Balance spirituality and practicality, full moon in Pisces. You're very close to achieving your goal, gibbous moon. Don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. And then believe in the impossible, blue moon. Now, I'm not sure when the blue moon is either. The gibbous moon, obviously, you get every month. So certain things here you're going to be experiencing potentially every month. Possibly a bit of this sorrow and grief. Possibly some of the indecision. Your full moon eclipse, we have got that going on in September. So you could potentially experience something there in September. And it actually coincides with this full moon in Pisces. The full moon eclipse is on the same day. So the full moon in Pisces and the full moon eclipse is both happening roughly the 7th of September. I say roughly, that's exactly when it is in my calendar. So depending on which hemisphere you're in, obviously it might be slightly different. Could fall on the 6th for some of you, could fall on the 8th. But yeah, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere in the UK. So 7th of September for us is when we're going to see the full moon in Pisces and the full moon eclipse. So yeah, very much likely to be a big chunk there for you. And then we have a full moon in Leo as well, and that is going to be falling in February. So yeah, now I don't know if we've got a blue moon this year. I haven't seen one. No, we've got 2 new moons in Virgo, but we haven't got a blue moon from what I can see. No, I've not got a month with 2 moons in, which is odd because normally you have 13 in a year. Ah, January had 2 new moons, didn't it? But then full moons, I've not. It'll be December. No, it won't. It'll be January next year. So we'd have had one in December and there'll be 2 in January next year. So could drag out all the way up to January next year, or you might have even had some happening in December of 2024. So yeah, I'm not sure when it's going to be happening for you, but there's a big indication there that you could find that something's happening in September around the 7th with that lunar eclipse and Pisces both falling on exactly the same day. So keep an eye out for that. I know it's a long way off, but you never know. You never know. It might be when you make your decision finally. Right then, I hope that has helped some of you. I hope you enjoyed your reading today. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. It will help pass the message on to anyone else that needs to hear it. And if you want to hear more from me and you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit that subscription button. And if you press the notification bell, it will let you know when I do post new content. Again, if there is anything that you want to hear me do readings on, please pop it in the comments. It would be great to hear from you and I will see what I can do. Thank you very much for joining me.